Restoring a healthy forest has a lot of super important impacts. Not only does it support a healthy watershed, supplying drinking water to communities and animals, it provides a space for recreation and tourism. It will help protect communities from wildfire, and a number of other values benefit from a healthy forest. And I think it's also imperative that we simply be good stewards of the land. My name is Jacob Fritz. I'm the program manager for the Deschutes Collaborative Forest Project. We provide community feedback and input to the Forest Service on their plans for treatments of the forest, and then we work with community members to ensure they understand and support the work that's happening on their public lands.
Central Oregon would have historically seen a 5 to 15-year return interval of fire, and what that does is keep canopies open, vegetation down, and continues to bring in a varying age of trees so that each tree is getting the nutrients that they need and growing healthier. When we plan a restoration project, it's typically looking at things like, is it adjacent to a community? Is it a place on the landscape that hasn't seen fire for a long time and thus has, overstocked stands? We're really looking at all of those factors and trying to be strategic in our placement of these across the landscape. We certainly can't treat every acre, but if we're able to conduct these treatments in various strategic locations across the forest, that helps not only restore forest health, but also sets our firefighters up for success. Should a wildfire start in these areas, they have a better chance of stopping those fires and keeping them small before they impact communities and the places that we love.
There's 4 main stages of any restoration project. The first being hand thinning, crews coming in to reduce small tree density. The second is mechanical thinning, so reducing the density of some of the larger trees. The third is mowing and mastication to reduce density of grasses and shrubs. And the fourth is the application of prescribed fire. And that's the complete suite of restoration.
This stand right here has been thinned and prescribed burn. And so the really cool thing about this is a stand like this, what we call a treated stand, will ultimately be much more resistant to wildfire. And under summertime, hot, windy conditions, there won't be enough fuel here to kill the overstory trees for a long time. Whereas, when we look at these stands of high shrub density and high tree density, right now, they have no resistance to wildfire.
There's a critical distinction between high severity and low severity fire. Low severity fire was extremely frequent and natural in this ecosystem, and that typically was a fire that was burning along the ground, consuming downed wood, needles, pine cones, and some shrubs, maybe some small trees. You compare that with the high severity fire that we see increasing in frequency today, which is leaving these disastrous moonscapes of dead trees and nothing left behind. And so when we talk about beneficial fire, we're talking about low to moderate severity, not the high severity that we see today.
When we conduct a vegetation restoration project or a prescribed burn, we're really thinking about all of the different multiple partners and people that come into play with that. And so we're working in close coordination with those organizations and different user groups to ensure that we're able to conduct this work in a safe way, and also taking into account other interests and making sure that everyone has a voice. That planning process is really key to make sure that everyone can come to the table with their ideas, and then we move forward with a solution. The first thing we do when we get out on our prescribed burn is conduct a test fire. And what that looks like is applying just a small amount of fire in the area that we're looking to burn to see how it's being consumed by the vegetation. Is it burning too hot? Is it burning too cool? Are the winds truly the same direction that were forecasted? If those conditions aren't met, we won't move forward with the burn for the day. Any prescribed burn unit that we have has a line already around it. So that means either it's a line constructed by hand all the way down to mineral soil, or natural features like a road and trail. So that fire already has a containment boundary around it. Once our firefighters are looking at igniting a prescribed burn, they're working directly with Oregon Department of Forestry Smoke Management to pick those days that have the best conditions to lift smoke up and out of the community, as well as to meet the need of the prescription of the prescribed burn, making sure that it's burning with a low enough intensity to meet the objectives of what needs to happen on the ground.
Fire is certainly an area where people can find agreement. This forest was shaped and managed by fire for millennia. It's a fire-adapted ecosystem, so the return of fire to the landscape is incredibly important when we talk about forest health, community resiliency, and all these other intersections with the values our community members hold.
Many people see fire as this really destructive force, but it's essential to these dry ponderosa forests and keeping them healthy. Fire clears out the old, makes way for new, and a cycle has been going on like that for thousands of years. And if we help ponderosa forests by prescribed fire and not removing fire from the ecosystem, we end up with resistant and resilient ponderosa forests for thousands of years to come.